This is a reading from They Haven't Taken My Phone Yet, and it's the story of the true cat, as told to Emmy. To entertain Emmy, Julia decided to tell her a story. It was the story of the true cat. It may seem strange to tell such a young child a story that way, but Emmy was an unusual baby, and Julia knew it. As you have surmised, Julia knew a great number of things. Long ago, Emmy, in a land far away by the sea, when language was growing and branching and becoming itself in many ways, there were 3 important words that I want to tell you about. Emmy turned her shining, dark little eyes on the old lady. Any child likes to hear a story. Even the 2 animals seemed to attend. We know Billy did. These words are troth, truth, and plight in the sense of pledge. These may not seem related at first, but they're very old words. Usually they are part of a marriage ceremony, even up to the present times. To say, I plight my troth, means to promise on risk of being a liar or untrustworthy. This promise is made to a true love, that is, a love in truth or in troth. Well, Emmy, we have inherited these old English people's language, so we have to deal with it. We Indians came to the same conclusions by different means with different words. Now we borrow these meanings. So, true love. But there is also another story. In every cat lover's life, there is also a true cat. Billy looked wise and kept his own counsel, as this was a story he knew well. A girl or a boy never knows how their true cat will come to them. In fact, they usually don't know there is such a thing until it happens. Sometimes a child is given a kitten by a parent or some friend, and the child and the cat grow up together. This might be a very true love. Sometimes a kitten or a cat just comes to your door and you let him in. In that case, the cat has chosen you, and that is very special. You must never turn a cat away from your door, for he or she may be your true cat. But then sometimes when you are an older person, you'll be walking somewhere, minding your own business, full of all kinds of thoughts, and you will find in your path a cat, or a baby kitten even, that is in dire need of help. You must help, for this one likely will become your true cat. If it needs a doctor, you must provide one. If it needs food and shelter, you can do all of that yourself. To help this creature that God put in your path is a very high calling indeed. When you answer that calling, you are pledging your honor or your truth to love and care for the cat. Not in so many words usually, Emmy. Now I will tell you how Billy came to me. I had never been alone. All my life there were others. First a mother and father, then just my father. Then I got a husband. Then we were parents of 2 children. But children grow up and they must live their own lives. Soon my children became adults and left my home. Then John Chi, who had been my husband for so long, weakened and died. Then, Emmy, I was alone most of the time. I gave his old truck to my son Ben because I never learned to drive. I probably should have, but I didn't. One day I asked my son to take me to Winslow for grocery shopping. In an alley beside the store there was a dumpster. I could hear some small cries coming from the dumpster, so Ben and I opened it. Inside in a plastic bag was a small wet tabby kitten. He had been thrown away as if he were garbage. Thrown away alive. Well, you know what happened, of course. I brought him out here, then I set about mothering him. First I fed him a little, then I gave him a warm bath and a good rub down with a towel, then more feeding, then he was sleeping. I made him a nest by putting a folded towel in a square basket. Ben and I had picked up litter and canned kitten food in a box for the litter after we found the kitten, so that was taken care of also. He never used his nest much, only when I was up and busy, Most of the time he slept on my shoulder in bed when I slept. I hope this whole story isn't putting you to sleep, Emmy. So I was not alone then. I called him Billy because it seemed like a good name for an Indian kitty. In time I noticed as he grew that he was an unusual cat. He watched out for me. He could hear and see things which I could not perceive. If someone walked near the house, he told me with gestures and by his expression. If my thoughts wandered down sad paths, he knew, and he came to me, and he lifted my heart. He was in fact a watcher, a sort of angel, and he was my true cat. The old lady stopped speaking then. She sighed and smiled at the tiny girl asleep in her carrier. She patted Billy's head as he sat beside her. Honda opened his eyes briefly. She smiled at him too, and he went back to sleep. When the blue pickup drove back up the driveway, no one was awake in the house. The slight rattle and engine noise didn't disturb the sleepers at all. And I will end there for now.